As Israel prepares to retaliate for Iran's now 2-week-old missile attack. The office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu telling NBC News, "We listen to the opinions of the United States, but we will make our final decisions based on our national interests."
As they've been doing from the very beginning, even though I don't think causing hostility toward the civilians of Israel is really in the best interests of those civilians. But nonetheless, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has stated that he is planning to strike Iran's military targets rather than oil or nuclear facilities, as many had feared. You should never take his word at face value. He is a known liar, a proven liar, but nonetheless, Joe Biden was so thrilled that he is allegedly moderating his retaliatory plans against Iran that he decided to provide US troops and yet another defense system for Israel. But as you heard, Israel is of course making it clear that in the end, they're gonna do what they wanna do. And so the Israeli government is looking to retaliate against Iran's recent strike on Israel. And that was, by the way, a retaliatory strike after Israel had conducted assassinations in Iran, okay? So it's not like Iran randomly decided to attack Israel. They retaliated against Israel, and they did so in a way to ensure that no civilians died. Unfortunately, they accidentally killed a Palestinian in the West Bank when they conducted their retaliatory strike. Now, if Israel strikes Iran's oil fields, obviously that would be disastrous when it comes to global oil prices. All of us would be paying a significant price for everything. It would cause inflation because of the fact that Iran is a major oil producing country. A strike on Iran's nuclear program would, of course, provoke a much larger and deadlier war. So the Biden administration alleges that they don't want Israel to do that either. Now, according to two officials with knowledge of a recent call between Netanyahu and Biden, Netanyahu was in a more moderated place in that discussion than he had previously been. The retaliatory action would be calibrated to avoid the perception of political interference in US elections, the official familiar with the matter said, signaling Netanyahu's understanding that the scope of the Israeli strike has the potential to reshape the presidential race. Fascinating that he knows that. I should note that Netanyahu is hoping that Donald Trump win the presidential election as opposed to Kamala Harris. I don't know why suddenly we would believe that Netanyahu would moderate his views in order to avoid shaping policy or an election in our country when everything he has done has shaped what's been going on in our country. But I don't know, Cenk, you tell me, what do you think?
Yeah, so first of all, I'm, as usual, tired of the begging and pleading that Joe Biden does on our behalf. Oh, I'm so happy you're moderating your position a tiny bit. Thank you, sir, we appreciate it. Oh my God, our overlords have told us that they're moderating their position a little bit after we begged them for a year straight. Well, we don't know if they're gonna do it because they lie to us every time. But oh, thank you, Netanyahu, thank you. It's pathetic, absolutely pathetic. I mean, if you watch television, you'll get a totally, completely different view. Oh my God, Joe Biden's a hero. A hero on what? On what?
Yeah, there's definitely a masculinity crisis in America. It's in the White House.
Yeah, so now on Netanyahu and what he's gonna do. Look, it's impossible to tell, and there's so many backroom deals. And whenever, why is Netanyahu moderating his position for half a second or pretending to? Because he wanted THAAD, that's the missile defense system, the extra missile defense system that we're sending in, and the 100 US soldiers who are now human shields. Because God forbid Iran hits one of them, then Netanyahu is going to be the happiest man on the planet.
The US soldiers would be operating THAAD, which is why they are also sent to Israel along with the missile defense system.
Right, and then Netanyahu, who's constantly giving speeches about our war is your war. I give you this giant war of mine so you can pay for it in blood and treasure. Oh, we're defending Western civilization. Wink. Okay, yeah. So, but is it possible that Netanyahu hits their oil fields despite promising Biden that he won't a week before the election, causing gas prices to skyrocket, causing Trump to win? Well, knowing the snake that Netanyahu is, it would be surprising if he didn't do it.
Exactly.
And then well, here's what I'm gonna enjoy though. So that's gonna be a disaster of epic proportions and I'm gonna hate every part of it. But then when Biden and Kamala Harris cry about how they can't believe Netanyahu betrayed them.
They're not gonna cry.
Okay, no, but then will the Democrats, who will be furious about it, will they do anything to take away the funding of Israel? No, of course not. They'll just go back to, we can't believe Netanyahu did that to us and Trump won the election. I'm so sorry, Israel. I'm so sorry. I'll do anything for you, Israel. So yeah. Bunch of corrupt politicians. So go make your stupid deals that have no effect at all. So, yeah. But I've got more on that in a second. Anna, go ahead.
No, but why be upset with Netanyahu for potentially hurting Democrats in this upcoming presidential race when the real enemy is Jill Stein? That's who they're directing their ire at right now as we speak, but we'll get to that later in the show. Getting back to this story though, look, there are several caveats to the moderated strategy that Netanyahu claims to have. Number one, we actually don't know how many strikes Israel is planning to carry out against Iran. In fact, an anonymous US official told the Washington Post the following: it will be one in a series of responses.
So in other words, when we tell you that we're only gonna hit their military facilities.
Might just be the first time they strike.
And they're gonna say, well, we told you. Number one, you're not making the decisions. You're not the boss of us. We're the boss, okay? Number two, I told you I was gonna do a series of responses, and I told you I'd hit one of their military facilities, and then I did the other responses. Well, you're an idiot for thinking otherwise. In fact, here, I'll give you one more quote, Anna. They said, we will get to the same point in the north, we will finish it, and then get to Iran, which is not going anywhere. So in other words, we're not gonna listen to you guys. We're gonna bomb the living crap out of Iran and start this giant war. We're just choosing not to do it yet while you guys send in more troops and more weapons and more money like idiots.
I should also note that, again, there are no guarantees that the Israeli government will keep their word. There have been countless examples of the Israeli government saying one thing and then doing another. In fact, the most recent example that comes to mind is the fact that Netanyahu agreed to a ceasefire with Hezbollah in Lebanon. And then after agreeing to that ceasefire deal, after telling the Biden administration that he agreed to that ceasefire deal, what did they do again? Oh yeah, that's right. They continued bombing Lebanon, and they assassinated Hassan Nasrallah, the head of Hezbollah, who had also agreed to the ceasefire deal.
So they killed everyone who was in favor of a ceasefire, correct, or moderates in their respective groups.
Correct, yeah.
Huh, interesting. In fact, I'm gonna tell you something about that in relation to Iran in a second.
Now, perhaps the most concerning is this leaked message from Nathan Eshel, who's an advisor to the Netanyahu family. He's quoted as saying, just as we waited with Hezbollah in Lebanon and with Hamas in Gaza in the south, now I think we will have to wait with Iran. We will get to the same point in the north. This is the point that Cenk was making. We will finish it and then get to Iran, which is not going anywhere. I wanted to give you the full quote there. And so in regard to the missile defense system, take a look at this video.
This is the first time, Namna, that US forces will deploy into Israel since the October 7th attack, and about 100 service members will arrive with a THAAD battery. That is the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense. Defends against ballistic missiles, so it would be used alongside Israeli missile defense against Iranian attacks. That's 2 weeks after 180 Iranian ballistic missiles really caused no damage, but as you can see there, got through US and Israeli air defense.
So they have Iron Dome, David Sling. They have like this extra layer of like a satellite missile defense system. They now have THAAD. So when you consider all of the defense capabilities that Israel has, thanks to the United States taxpayer providing these defense systems for Israel, do you now understand how ridiculous it is when Israel, which is the aggressor in this war right now, certainly the aggressor as they're bombing the crap out of Lebanon, bombing Syria, they've bombed Iran. I mean, like bombing all of their neighbors, absolutely leveling Gaza, annexing the West Bank. They're doing all of this stuff, okay? All of their enemies don't have nearly close to the type of weaponry and offensive capabilities that Israel has. They don't have the same defensive capabilities that Israel has. But Israel continues to position itself as the #1 victim in the international community. Okay, constantly at risk, constantly dealing with threats. They're the victims. When they're the ones who have slaughtered tens of thousands of civilians in now multiple countries.
No, Anna, they had to kill them over there before they ever made it to Israel. I mean, imagine if anyone made it to Israel but oh my, it hasn't happened in 12 months. They've fired endless rockets. They have an incredible impenetrable defense system. A couple landed out of thousands and thousands of rockets that landed. 1,200 people were killed on October 7th. That's terrible. And then they said, oh, you think that's bad? Wait till we slaughter 42,000 people. We destroy all of Gaza. We attack 5 of our neighbors. Over a year later, we're still defending ourselves, even though almost no rockets have landed in over a year, right? But we've obliterated the place. Oh, but hey, we needed some breathing space. Hey, and we're gonna have to take some of Gaza because we need breathing space.
So people keep asking, okay, then what do you propose Israel do, right? Because the thinking is, if Israel stops with the bombings, if Israel stops leveling capitals of other sovereign countries, well then obviously that means they're surrendering and inviting their people to be slaughtered by all of these evil Muslim and Arab countries that surround them, right? Are we just gonna pretend like they don't have their defense capabilities? Are we gonna pretend like they don't have the backing of the international community's hegemon as it applies to military capability? The United States backs Israel no matter what Israel does. The idea that Israel is like this poor, vulnerable little country and they don't have anything. It's like a little third world country and they don't know what to do.
Oh my God, they're all gonna die any second. They're all gonna die any second. The world hates Israel. Poor little Israel, they're such a tiny little victim. Just a tiny, tiny, tiny little place. They have nukes. Who are you kidding?
They have nukes.
Who are you kidding? Are you insane?
I just don't understand. Like what does Israel need to have for people to finally wake up to the reality of the Middle East right now? What the most powerful country in the Middle East actually is, okay? It's not Iran. Okay, it's not Lebanon, it's not the Palestinians, it's not Hamas, it's not Hezbollah, it's Israel. Israel is the most powerful country in the Middle East. They are not the victims here, okay? Netanyahu dropped the ball and allowed his citizens to get slaughtered. He did not have IDF troops stationed near the Gaza Strip. Was that an accident? Seriously, was that an accident? This was a failure of Israeli leadership within the Israeli government, and they're acting like the real problem is all the enemies that surround Israel. When Israel's the country that has the defense capabilities, the military capabilities, a US military backing it no matter what it does. We are risking the lives of our own soldiers on behalf of Israel. How is Israel the victim here? How many more innocent people need to die for people to wake up? Seriously, how many more? Yeah. How many more? How many more? How many kids? How many more kids? Can they at least give us a number? Netanyahu, how many more kids do you want to slaughter before you're finally satisfied? Tell us.
Yeah.
How many more kids need to be shot in the head by the IDF? Huh? How many? People are real upset that the New York Times would allow doctors from the United States who donated their time and risked their lives in Gaza, okay, to pen an op-ed about what they saw on the ground in Gaza, including children as young as 5 with gunshot wounds to their head and their chest. So they went after the New York Times and alleged that these incidents were totally fabricated.
Yeah, they're all bigots. They all think killing Arab kids is no big deal.
I can't imagine.
They're like, what do you mean? One of us was hurt 12 months ago. That's why we had to slaughter your kids and we're doing headshots and we're now doing human shields, which is the next story.
How do you shoot a 5-year-old kid in the head? How do you do it? How do you do it?
It's easy when you're a terrorist. So now Israel has taken all the things they said were the worst examples of terrorism and they've done all of them, while pretending they're tiny little David that could be extinguished at any moment, right? That was in the past and it was horrific when you were the Palestinians, when you were the abused, when you were the oppressed, you were the starved, you were the slaughtered. Now you are the Germans saying, no, we need more room. Oh, we attacked everyone for our self-defense. We had to defend the homeland. I mean, we have a giant military and we crushed our neighbors, but the Germans are the victims here. So I understand what the hell's happened here, and it's human psychology. They think they're fighting the Nazis. You're fighting the most helpless people on earth. They are David, you are Goliath. Why do you think they throw stones at you? Because you bombed them to the Stone Age. And if you're proud of that, you're a disgusting pig terrorist. If you say, oh yeah, we turned it into glass, we killed all their kids, then we killed the medics, then we killed the journalists, you see how we're the good guys? No, I don't. I see how Israel has turned into this thing that is unrecognizable. It went from my God, when they formed Israel, imagine if they actually said, all right, we're gonna give back to occupied territories, save Jewish haven, now let's go help the rest of the world. Anytime there's a natural disaster, Israel's gonna come to help. We have great technology, we've got plenty of money, we're good to go, we're gonna help the world. Then everybody would love Israel. But no, they say, well, I don't know why people don't like us. We've crushed everything around us. So last thing, goes to the point about moderation. So this is from the Washington Post. Netanyahu's team was alarmed by the recent election of Iran's reformist president, Masoud Pezeshkian. Why were they alarmed about someone who would reform the Ayatollah's ways and the fundamentalist Muslim ways of the Iranian government?
Because then they might not have an excuse to,
to bomb them and kill them and to obliterate them and humiliate them.
Yeah.
Because you're supposed to be excited about a reformist government. Whenever I debate an Israeli supporter, they'll say, oh yeah, I bet you really like the mullahs. No, apparently Netanyahu does. I don't want the mullahs to be in charge in Iran. So I'm glad that a reformer got elected. It's a reformer within the context of Iran. I'm not overly excited about it. But Netanyahu and the Israelis are like, oh God damn it. We don't want them reformed. We want them as fundamentalist as possible. We want them so that we could pretend that they're the boogeyman. Oh, we had to do it. Oh my God, they hate Jews so much. We had to kill them all, right? Oh, a reformer? No. Okay, now they say if Vice President Kamala Harris, this is Washington Post again, if Vice President Kamala Harris is elected, Netanyahu thinks the nuclear deal will be back on the table, she said, and so now is a strategic moment to undermine this. But wait a minute, you know what the nuclear deal was? It takes away Iran's nuclear program.
Yeah.
Israel says that we must invade Iran because they might have a nuclear program. But the nuclear deal would take that away from them. They would have no nuclear program at all. And Israel's livid about it.
Yeah, Netanyahu was furious when Obama was able to succeed in accomplishing the Iran nuclear deal. He was so angry at Obama that he came to America and spoke in front of Congress to basically trash the Iran nuclear deal, trash Obama. A bunch of Democrats decided they're not gonna go to see Netanyahu speak as a result of him trashing Obama and the nuclear deal. Trump gets elected and Trump did exactly as Netanyahu wanted him to do. He ripped up the Iran nuclear deal, paved the way for Iran to go ahead and develop a nuclear weapon if they want. That was the plan all along. Netanyahu has wanted war with Iran just like Netanyahu wanted war with Iraq and goaded the US government under the Bush administration to do a preemptive war in Iraq.
And he's trying to do the same exact thing in Iran, and he's not hiding it. So he's saying, I don't want a reformer. I don't want them to stop their nuclear program so that we go and kill them. We show them who's boss around here.
I think everyone
knows. Then they'll
knows.
all be subjugated
and
they'll all know. No. He thinks then they'll all know they can't defend themselves against us. And then we could take more and more land. He's a revisionist Zionist. He thinks Israel should have as much land in the Middle East as possible. And if you subjugate them to the point where they have no way of defending themselves, then Israel can be the overlords that Netanyahu dreams about. And by the way, guys, I'm sorry, I hate to break it to you, but we've lost Israel. Like the population, are there wonderful people inside Israel? Of course, they're a normal population like anyone else. But the culture has gotten to a very dark place. So right now, Netanyahu, if there were elections today, would not win. Naftali Bennett would win. Oh, that's good news, right? No, Naftali Bennett is even more fundamentalist, and he says we should hit Iran's nuclear facilities right now and not listen to Biden, not listen to America, not listen to anything. So Israel is saying, well, I love this monstrous terrorist warmonger Netanyahu. Oh my God, a guy who's more radical and more right-wing and more of a warmonger, and wants to grab land from the Arabs and kill them more is even better. So I'm sorry, Israel, but you've lost your way. So look, I'm not an Israeli citizen. There's nothing I could do about it, okay? But I am a US citizen. Stop the money, for God's sake. This is all on our conscience. Everybody's gonna look back and say, what did you monsters do? Why did you encourage them and give them more money every time they attacked a new country and slaughtered more people?
Biden's legacy.